in with one of the most famous comedians in the world right now, and I cannot wait to tell y'all about it. Welcome to the Friends with Davey Cult Bros live stream. I am here with my good friend and fellow former cult member, Brice. Brice, how you doing tonight, man? How's it going?
Doing great. Welcome to the Shenanigans podcast. I'm happy to. Oh wait, oh that's
different podcast,
next.
dude. No, that's
a
separate
confused.
one.
Okay,
dude,
bad.
I'm pumped about doing this live stream tonight. We haven't done just a live stream, you and I, in a while. We're gonna be answering a lot of questions tonight, talking about some stuff that's been going on. So I'm stoked. As always, super chats are very welcome. Not required, but always appreciated. And if you send your question with a super chat, you will get a guaranteed response. But please feel free to send questions anyway. We'll be watching the live chat and answering them as we are able. But first, I wanted to talk about the stand-up comedian, world famous stand-up comedian that I ran into last night, Matt Rife, dude. I did a show with Matt Rife last night. How crazy is that? This guy is on top of the world right now, dude. There is no one in the comedy world that is more famous currently than Matt Rife. I mean, you've seen his stuff, right, Brice?
I have. I've seen clips and I've heard of him. Yes. I don't think I sat down and watched like a full special or anything.
You haven't seen one of his specials, but you've seen his
I don't
clips.
even know where they are.
Oh, they're all right here on YouTube. All of his stuff is right here on YouTube. It's great. Dude, Matt Rife, he is so good. Like, here's what happened. I was doing this show with producer Josh last night, as a matter of fact. And it was at the Creek and Cave in Austin, Texas. I get a phone call from producer Josh a few hours before saying, hey, just so you know, Matt Rife is going to be dropping in tonight. And immediately I'm just like, dude, what? He's just going to be showing up at this show? And producer Josh is like, yeah, you can't tell anyone. It's a big secret. He's dropping in. He's going to be trying some new stuff. So just wanted to make sure you were aware. And I was like, yo, thank you for the heads up. But we weren't allowed to tell anyone. It wasn't advertised. The Creek and Cave, the comedy club, they didn't tell anyone what was going on. And so it was this big surprise. What was hilarious, dude, is we're doing the show, right? And the guy that was on stage right before Matt, he's like a singer comedian guy, right? Okay. And so he's playing this song. He's playing this new song that he wrote about how his wife is obsessed with Matt Rife. So he does this whole song about how angry he is that his wife is obsessed with Matt Rife. And then the next guy to come on stage is Matt Rife. Crazy. Dude, it was so good.
Of course.
Comedian,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he definitely knew that Matt was coming up after him. Nice. But it was just so fun. And when Matt walked out, I mean, the audience, it was just like minds blown in the audience because no one knew he was going to be there. There were a few people that I'm sure Matt told or that staff told, like, hey, you really want to be at this show. Like when I posted it on my social media, I literally posted a flyer of the show and I was like, I highly recommend you come to this show. Don't ask me why, just thank me later. Right. And so there some of my friends showed up.
Come? You were like, don't come. I don't need you there.
Brice, I hate to tell you this. I was really afraid that you were going to try to steal my thunder. That was the only concern. you would have tried. You would have tried. Yeah, dude, it was when he walked out on stage, like people just lost their minds. Like the women in the audience went nuts. Dude, there were two like younger women sitting front and center, like kind of at the, I said front and center, but they were actually at the corner of the stage, but front row. And they immediately just went bananas, just lost it instantly as soon as he walked out. But he was trying out new stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of that at your show, sir.
I would say like the people that already follow me get excited when I come out on stage, but with Matt Rife, dude, it's total. I've actually hung out with Matt before. Like, I know him. He's actually good friends with some of my other comedy buddies. I went to the taping for his special, Matthew Stephen Rife, which they did in Austin at a club called the Vulcan Gas Company. When he walked out on stage, dude, there were literally women throwing their unmentionables on stage. Not joking. I am not joking. They were throwing underwear on stage when Matt Rife walked out. Nuts.
When did that become a thing?
I'm telling,
Where's
dude.
the historical reference of the first time? So I mean, if somebody threw undimensionables on the stage way back in the day, it could knock somebody out. But yeah,
Imagine
corset, just a full corset.
Imagine when we were in the cult, if like one of our popular cult speakers walked out and they just started throwing bloomers at him.
First, it would take 5 minutes to get to them.
That's exactly. No, they just throw whole denim skirts on stage. That's
oh my gosh.
But
what?
yeah,
Oh my god.
I mean, dude, and like he was working out new material, so this is stuff he's never performed before. But still, he was great, like so funny, and he was doing some of his crowd work. So it was just such a fun time. But here's what was really interesting. So after the fact, I posted about it on my social media, right? And instead of people telling me like, hey, congratulations, you got to do a show with Matt Rife, that's so cool. It was just, was he as good looking in person as he is on social media? Does he have a girlfriend? Can you give him my number? Why didn't you tell me? Like all this other stuff only about Matt, nothing about me, dude. I felt kind of disrespected.
What we need is a picture of you and Matt Rife with no shirts on side by side.
I think that's a game that would hurt my feelings actually, because Matt is ripped, dude. Matt is. I have a picture.
What if
of
I was
him
in the middle with my shirt off?
Okay, that could deflect a little bit. That could deflect somewhat, but still, I think it would end up hurting my feelings. But yeah,
chopping two people out.
Right. But he was super cool. I legitimately did get like a lot of questions DM'd, just kind of asking about him. He was so nice at both times that I've met him. Just a super nice guy. One of the big questions that I got was, does he have a girlfriend? I have to know, does he have a girlfriend? And it didn't come up. We didn't really talk about it. From what I've heard, I mean, it's, whatever he's into. No, I mean, way back in the day, Matt Rife actually dated Kate Beckinsale. And I know you know who Kate Beckinsale is, Brice.
So that's all it takes.
For you?
It doesn't matter. No. It doesn't matter how you look as a guy. If you can be seen dating a smoking hot A-list celebrity female.
Yeah.
And we have a case in point is Pete Davidson.
True. Very, very true. Yes.
Because Pete Davidson is not exactly like outstandingly handsome or anything.
Yeah.
All he had to do was get one smoking hot celebrity female, and then
with Pete Davidson, it started with Ariana Grande, and then it was Kim Kardashian, and he actually was tied
Sidney
to Kate
Crawford's
Beckinsale.
daughter.
Oh wow, I didn't know that one.
I believe.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. No, he is.
But you're totally right.
Yeah.
You're like once. It's almost like once you're seen with one, the rest just kind of get in line. It's like, oh,
we're
we
gonna
need to see what this is all
Photoshop
about.
you in with somebody, but it can't be like super smoking A-list right now. It has to be somewhat more believable. Oh, maybe too soon, but you and Sandy, but I think it might be a little soon.
Sandy?
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, Sandra Bullock. Oh, that's an interesting one. But
But she just lost her husband.
there was some recent tragic. Oh, that's so dark,
Yeah.
right?
I know. No, look, I wasn't thinking about that.
It was just off the top of your head. I know you didn't mean anything by it, but that's kind of messed up, dude.
Hey, she's in Austin. You're in Austin.
This is a great reference, Brice.
I've been eyeballing that. I don't know who.
I don't know who that is either, but I do know who Jim Sammons is, and absolutely, I mean that was rock star status in the cult.
I don't think I can do a Jim Sammons. I had a friend that could do a Jim Sammons, but it's like I can't do it because I have a beard. But he would smile, but it was like
he was a frequent speaker at all the conferences and seminars. Jim Sammons, there was that other guy. He was an attorney that had supposedly the entire Bible memorized or whatever. He was a former attorney, converted, and memorized the entire Bible. I don't know what his name was, but he was another celebrity, another cult celebrity, one of the Gothard favorites.
I challenge him to do Lord of the Rings, and I will sit through it as he recites it.
You'll go line for line. Would you go bar for bar on Lord of the Rings? You think you could do it?
Well, I would trade out with Colbert, but yes. We would both be judging.
Awesome. So yeah, I don't know if Matt Rife currently has a girlfriend. As far as his looks, he's absolutely as good looking in person as he is on social media. I can confirm that. The guy, I mean, listen, I am very comfortable in my manhood, so I will say that is a good looking dude. He is unnecessarily handsome.
Where is he between Henry Cavill and
Henry Cavill is a handsome dude. Is
George,
it Henry Cavill or Henry Cavill? No, not George Clooney.
I'm trying.
Young Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's not all that.
That's blasphemy, sir.
Hemsworth.
I'm gonna kick
Chris
you off the
Hemsworth.
live stream.
Chris Hemsworth.
Okay. Yeah, that's legit, I guess. I would say
I'm trying to think of the comedy guy that got Sexiest Man Alive like 5 years ago.
Bradley Cooper,
who has not changed, has not aged. His name is completely slipping my mind.
Bradley Cooper's another one, but I would say, I mean, he's right up there with all those guys, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is genetically gifted, extraordinarily genetically gifted. It's insane.
Yeah, but how's his beard game? Like, what do we know about that?
You know what, dude? I really can't say a whole lot about beard game at all. This is about as good as mine gets.
Paul Rudd. It
was Paul Rudd? Leanne got it. Way to go, Leanne. Oh, and Nuria had it too.
Oh,
everyone but us figured it out.
Pictures fit. Yeah, beard game. You know.
I don't know. I mean, Chris Hemsworth obviously has great beard game. You know, Thor.
Do we know that he does?
But I don't even think Paul Rudd. I doubt Paul Rudd could grow a big old bushy beard. You know.
Nah. Nick Offerman, the man, the myth, the legend.
There you go. I mean, he is the original beard guy. Original bearded comedian, I would say. And Nick Thune, actually, as well. Nick Thune is another comedian with a just stellar beard game. Matt is also incredibly nice. Like, the nicest guy. I mean, he is on top of the world right now. Like, I don't think people really understand how popular Matt Rife is. I started following Matt Rife on social media when he had just over 100,000 followers. He is now over, I want to say he's over 5 million now. I mean, it's insane. I mean, it has been meteoric for him.
Would you say he's just kind of like when Joe Coy? Because like people didn't, I would say Joe Coy's name and people were like, who? And then like 3 months later, he's sold out more shows.
But Joe Coy isn't even at Matt Rife's level right now. Right now, just as far as recognition that Matt Rife is getting currently. I mean, Joe Coy is, one of the, I think, top entertainers in the world right now, from what I understand. And he's selling out stadiums. But it's just the heat that Matt Rife has right now is out of control. And it was so fast. It was, I mean, obviously there were years and years of buildup. You know what a lot of people don't know about Matt Rife is he actually started with Ralphie May. He started doing stand-up with Ralphie May. I mean, he had already done open mics and shows before, but he begged Ralphie May to let him do shows with him. And so
don't go back
Ralphie
and
May took him under his wing.
Some Ralphie May, they are missing out. That guy
was so good.
Man, was he
legendary.
At Carlin level? Was he like?
Yes.
I think
absolutely.
So he would say stuff, and you're like, "Where's he going? Oh my god!"
Mm-hmm. And then he'd hit the punchline, and everyone just lost it. I've got a story about Ralphie May. Actually, my buddy Cam Bertrand tells this story. Ralphie May did a show at Side Splitters Comedy Club in Tampa, Florida. I'll actually be there later in September. But Ralphie May did a show there, and Cam said that he was making everyone laugh so hard that the walls of the club were shaking. Like, he put his hand up against the wall, and it was shaking. Everyone was laughing so hard. That is the genius of Ralphie May. But yeah, Matt Rife started with him. And that's how he kind of, broke into the comedy scene. Then he did Wild 'N Out, was very good on Wild 'N Out. But then he had some down years after that. And I think really what he was doing was just building up his comedy game. After he left Wild 'N Out, he was doing a ton of shows. But this is a guy, Matt Rife is a guy that, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, he would have struggled to sell more than about 100 tickets at a comedy club. And now he announced his world theater tour, not comedy club tour, but a world theater tour. What, I think that was back in like May or June, right?
Mm-hmm.
All I know is that it was sold out in a week. A worldwide theater tour. It was 100+ dates, sold out in a week. That is crazy. But that's how good this guy is. I mean, he's goated, dude. He really is. But he, like I was saying, he is such a nice guy. Like, just very down to earth, very humble. Like, he's sitting in the green room with, a bunch of comics, just talking, ripping jokes or riffing on jokes, I should say, taking pictures with people. Just the coolest dude. He's a really, really cool guy.
Nice.
Like, that's the kind of guy where you're so happy that he's getting the recognition and credit he deserves. But there's so many haters right now too, dude. People are hating on this guy, saying he's not funny, which is ridiculous. If you think, okay, my take on this, and I went on a whole rant about this the other day. If you don't think Matt Rife is funny, you are just being a hater. Period. If you don't think Matt Rife is funny, you're being a hater. I can understand if his humor isn't your kind, isn't your preferred type of humor. I get that. But to say he's not funny is ludicrous. Stupid, actually. Idiotic, I would say.
Man, I can't think like that anymore because I run into people. This is how I feel when people tell me that they haven't seen The Godfather and they don't want to see The Godfather and they will not agree that The Godfather is one of the greatest movies of all time. I mean,
right?
I don't see it right here. See that?
Yep, I see it right there behind you.
It's like 50th anniversary edition, still in plastic. But you know me, I'm a huge movie guy. But man, people are very various opinions, so
sure. And that it's fine to have an opinion. It's fine to say he's not
wrong.
My favorite comedian. I don't think
it's the wrong opinion.
It's the wrong opinion, right? It's fine to say I don't think he's as funny as X comedian. That's fine. I get that. Like, I have my favorite comedians. But to say he's not funny is ridiculous. Yeah. And people say it all the time. This is a really good point from Danny right here. I think Matt is hilarious, but also he has a hell of a marketing team. The devil works hard, but his social media team works harder. I 100% agree that Matt's video team, social media team, management team, they do a phenomenal job. Amazing job. But there would be no team if there wasn't Matt Rife. Because his crowd work is unparalleled. I don't think I've seen anyone do better crowd work than Matt Rife. And he just works so hard. He's constantly writing, constantly perfecting the craft, constantly tweaking jokes. It's like I said, it's undeniable. The guy is already legendary.
Crowd work is some of my favorite thing because as you know, I've done a little improv training and I interact with customers on a daily basis, and I am always throwing jokes and trying to take stress off of whatever my customer's going through. But yeah. So, and I love when I see somebody that's fast. I'm like, yes.
That's the thing. Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably why you appreciate that crowd work type stuff, because basically when you're working in a customer service position, like you are, Brice, you're constantly having to work your crowd, so to speak.
Yes,
make
and
sure
I also
you're diffusing and de-escalating, and usually you have to do it with humor.
Yeah, and because I don't want to throw myself out the window every day.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
So
exactly.
I got to keep myself entertained, and might as well entertain the customer too.
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think Matt is absolutely undeniably funny. And then I've heard other people say that, well, he's not that good looking. Okay, now you're just being jealous. If you don't think he's handsome, you're jealous, dude. Period. Again, maybe he's not your type, and that's totally fine. Maybe you like a burly bearded guy like Brice, and that's your type, and that's more so what you go for, that is fine. But to say Matt Rife isn't good looking is insane.
Look, it's a great time to be alive. Dad bods are in, beards are in.
Right.
You know, you got to work with what you got, and I'm just it's a good time to be alive.
It is. It is a good time for bearded guys with a little bit of a bod on them. The thick boys, the thick bearded boys are kind of the reigning champs right now. It's true. And short kings are doing really well right now too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend kind of has a type. She loves Jack Black. She loves Zach Galifianakis.
Okay, well,
So
I feel like those guys are shorter, much shorter than you, Brice. Because what, you're almost 6 feet tall, right? Or are you?
I am 6 feet, sir.
Okay? Sorry. Whoa. Sorry. Didn't mean to disrespect.
Now, her son towers over me.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's 6'2".
Oh, so I'm 6'2", and my little brother is 6'5".
I've seen you next to your little brother, and I'm like, who's that guy?
Yeah, who's that giant?
Last time I saw him, I had him laughing at my jokes in your kitchen back in Connecticut when he was 10 or something.
A baby? Yeah, he was a
tiny.
Oh, that was after our epic road trip, right?
It was.
Which at some point we have got to talk about that, dude.
It'll be just the entire road trip.
Yeah.
Mainly will be
in one episode, right?
One episode. I'll be telling it because I
don't remember it. I have no recollection.
You're like, well, I know I drank that, and I know I did some of those.
Yep. You got to stay awake somehow, Brice. I did most of the driving. Let's remember that. I did most of the driving.
I got to find no. Okay. I drove the first day 7 to 7.
Did you really?
Yes, sir.
Well, there we go. More stuff I don't remember.
You had not slept.
That's right. Yes.
And I told you that I'm not good to drive in the dark when I'm sleepy, and I knew I would be sleepy. And so I was like, I will drive first. You did not help keep me awake at all. You're like, cool, sunglasses on. Just
knockout. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, but then I drove all night, and I think
you're going to just have to stop talking.
Oh, that's true. Okay, good point. Yeah.
Save it. I will tell you guys right now that this road trip that we did back in the day would be a great comedy movie.
Yes.
Sweet little hour and a half. We laughed, we cried, it moved us. We went through multiple. We're talking
the full emotional range. Yeah.
San Antonio, Texas to Connecticut.
Yeah.
With a couple of stops in between where things went down that were not planned.
Very true. There was a lot that happened that was not at all planned.
When you're dealing with non-sober Davey,
it was
not going as planned.
it was quite well. So Danny said it's me driving like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Very accurate. Very, very accurate. And I was literally thinking it's basically, if it was a movie, it would be The Hangover road trip. That's what it would be. But yeah, we had that was a blast. But yeah, we do need to do a full episode on that at some point.
I will take suggestions. What actor should play Davey and what actor should play me?
Ooh, that's a good one, dude.
Great question. Could be. I could be Zach Galifianakis, but he's also. I mean, we need younger versions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, not really though. Not necessarily.
I mean, if we don't really need younger versions of us, then we'll just do it.
Oh no, I don't have the acting chops to pull that off. Hey guys, just as a reminder, if you have questions, if you have comments, keep the live chat going. If you feel like sending super chats, those are greatly appreciated. But thank y'all for being here right now. I wanted to also talk a little bit about. I actually met up with Laura Smith, Brice. I told you a little bit about that. I think Laura Smith, she was in the Shiny Happy People documentary on Prime. I mentioned during the podcast series we did on surviving the Shiny Happy People that Laura and I had a relationship way back, and that we even went. Well, I said that we had hung out. She actually mentioned that it was a date, which I don't really recall. I don't really recall much of that date at all. But Laura,
we went on 2
all
dates that you don't recall.
You and I.
Yeah. Heartbroken.
But Laura remembered everything. So I met up with her earlier this week just to sit down and kind of reminisce and talk about how she has been since she got out of the cult and how I have been since I got out of the cult. But basically what happened was, and I want to get her on an episode to talk about the documentary in general, but also to talk about just the experience that she and I had. Because it's a very, very interesting story, and I'm still like kind of cringing about it because apparently I was very cringy. I was very cringy on this date. Yeah,
there's nobody more cringy than homeschoolers released into the wild without supervision.
True, dude, but I'd already started like down my rebellious path at that point. So the reason I don't remember anything is because I was completely blacked out.
Yeah.
And I was still very cringe. There's one part of the story she told, and she even like warned me, and I'm going to let her tell the whole thing, obviously, but she even warned me. She was like, look, I don't want you to feel bad about this. I don't want you to, hate yourself or anything. And I was like, what did I do? And she was like, yeah, you wrote some song lyrics on a note to me. And I was like, oh God. I have
$100 right now if she can produce those.
She said the note actually might still be at her parents' house.
Nice.
Dude. Those are the memories that I'm so glad my substance abuse kind of wiped out, so I don't have to lay awake in bed until 3:00 in the morning just self-cringing over my behavior. Why did I do that? But yeah, she was really cool about it.
Because I was not drinking when we first started hanging out. I have a lot of memories of you, and it's like, hey man, let's go to the bar, let's go, and I'm like, okay. And then I had absolutely no idea how to talk to women other than to treat them like a friend and a sister. And guess what that gets you? A lot of friends.
A lot of friends, dude. A lot of friends.
Yeah, dude, and I watch you over there just doing your thing, and I'm just like, I can't act that good.
Dude, you get enough Jack Daniels in you, you can act however you want. Hey, I need to give a shout out to Cass real quick for the super chat. Thank you so much. She said, keep doing your thing. So glad to catch her live. I adore you guys and how honest and fun you keep it. Well, thank you so much, Cass, and thank you for watching and being so supportive. Genuinely appreciate that. We wouldn't be doing any of this if it wasn't for y'all. I think that's the important thing to realize here, for me anyways, is that, I've been podcasting for about 4 years now. And it really wasn't until we started talking about the nitty-gritty truth of how we grew up that it really started catching on. And so that's been such a cool experience, and it's been a cool experience because of feedback like this from Cass. Because if we were just if we were just telling the story, that's fine, obviously. And I think it's still an important story to tell, but hearing feedback like this is what inspires us to keep going with it, and to keep staying honest, and to keep bringing in guests who can, share their experience, and give people hope that, hey, just because you went through something traumatic doesn't mean that you can't have a happy, successful, healthy life after the fact.
And the timing
so I really
right,
appreciate
man.
feedback like this.
Because earlier, if this had happened 10 years ago, this would have a whole different kind of podcast.
Oh gosh, yeah, definitely, because there was still a lot of bitterness tied up in it, right?
Yeah.
There's still a lot of bitterness, and also maybe a little bit of denial that was still involved, right?
Yeah.
I
Plus, I still had, my relationship going on.
True. Yeah. I mean that certainly that was a whole challenge for you, for sure. I'm so glad I didn't have to go through that. I think, and I mean, we briefly talked about it on one of the podcast episodes. I've never been married, never had kids, but I was engaged at one point. And you know, I was still very deep in my substance abuse at that point. And, thank God, I mean, it was kind of messed up how I handled it, but suffice it to say, I called off the wedding 30 days before it was supposed to happen. Which is not the right way to handle something like that, obviously. But I really didn't have any other choice at that point. And people still showed up to the wedding venue.
Whenever I picture you and your girlfriends and talking about, you know, possible marriage, I picture Nemo from The Matrix.
Oh, Neo just dodging the bullets.
Neo, I feel like you've had more than one close brush with the wrong person.
Yeah.
I can't. Yes, I said Nemo. I'm sorry. It's late. Past
the fish?
Neo.
Yeah. No, I have had some close calls, put it that way. Right. But here we are today, and you're right. The timing was everything. The timing of the documentary, doing the podcast series. And it's just been such a cool experience. But getting to catch up with people like Laura, I mean, it was very cool, you know, her sharing what that experience, us going on this date was like, because I didn't remember any of it. Apparently, dude, it was an all-day thing. I thought we just went to a movie and talked for a little while afterwards. No. We did go to a movie and talk afterwards, but there was a lot more to it that she's
writing on the sign in the car.
Help me. Yeah.
It's a trap.
But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting catching up with people like her. And the other cool thing is, in addition to, you know, kind of catching me up on how, you know, that whole thing went, she was also able to catch me up on some other folks that I haven't seen or talked to in a long time. I mentioned, you know, there was a girl that I got in trouble with at the training center at the compound in Indianapolis, right? When I went for the behavioral rehab for Life Focus, there was a girl that I had a rendezvous with, a dangerous liaison, if you will. And that's ultimately what got me sent to the prayer room, to solitary confinement for a week.
Wasn't that in the elevator?
It was in multiple areas of the compound.
I remember you talking about being like an elevator thing, but which is very dangerous. But I guess you know when the door's going to open. So
extremely dangerous. But I remember her like hitting the stop button on the elevator at one point, and I was like, "Oh, we are definitely going to get caught."
With those elevators, that's dangerous.
They might not start back up again.
They were being maintained by 14-year-olds.
But also very understandable because they broke down all the time. So, yeah. But yeah, there were a couple different incidents that she and I had, and I have been searching for this person just to make sure that everything turned out okay for her, you know, because she was a daughter of one of the, I don't know if he ran the training center or not, or he was just like in a leadership position at the compound. But that was her dad. And granted, you know, some of the director's kids, they got special privileges and things like that, right? We know that. But still, I mean, I didn't want to get anyone in trouble.
Davey.
Yeah.
You were her special privilege.
I found my special purpose. But yeah, so I wanted to see how she was doing, and Laura was able to confirm that, yeah, she's great. She ended up getting married, having some kids, seems happy, everything's good. Don't feel bad. You didn't ruin her life. So that was cool. That was cool to find out. And I'm sure Laura will talk about that more too when we have her on an episode. I can't wait to do an episode with Laura, just because of the experience she had filming the documentary, the experience she had at the training centers. I mean, she went through it, dude. I remember some of the conversations that she and I had when we first started talking, and there was a lot. There was a lot that she went through.
I didn't really know her that well. She was a part of this group of people that were, you know, in their mid-20s that were ex from the cult, and we were all trying to make friends, and we having, you know, struggles, and we just all started hanging out together. I think she said some sort of story that I can't remember who she was telling us to, that she thought that like there was 2 or 3 guys at the table that she felt like they were all hitting on her, and I was one of them. I was like, man, I don't remember that at all. And I've got a pretty good memory about these things, but okay. Right? there is a photo of that
of all
situation.
of y'all at the table.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
and
back then
she looks, and she's just kind of like in the middle of all.
That
was
the
guys.
default mindset for women in the cult, though, is that they were, you know, you have to guard against becoming an eye trap and a stumbling block for men. Right.
But our default mindset was seek out, gain woman, reproduce.
Must court.
Because that's what we were told.
Must initiate courtship.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it was really cool catching up with her. Can't wait to do an episode with her. We're actually going to be filming an episode with Lindsey Williams as well. She was also on the documentary. She was on the Shiny Happy live stream, the final episode that we did live in Austin. And so she'll be doing an episode with us that I'm very, very excited about. And she's just so well-spoken and had such a, I mean, obviously it's interesting, but it's also just, I mean,
it's wild,
horrific, horrific experience with Bill Gothard.
It's one of those things where it's like, how did I not know what was going on? Because like I knew her before either of us worked at a facility.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard nothing about her until she showed up at where I was working, apparently to get reformed,
right?
Which did not work.
No, but I mean, the crazy thing that I didn't know about Lindsey is the guy that she got in trouble with and got sent to punishment compound, right? Was the guy that she ended up marrying. Like, what a fairy tale story. That's crazy.
I wish I had shamed my parents and got sent home. I could have like moved. Right? It's like every time somebody gets like shamed and just they get kicked out, they like reboot their life and they go forward.
Yeah. Well, that's
like,
one of the things I realized after the fact, dude, with the lady that I had an encounter with at the compound, right, in Indianapolis. After the fact, I was like, wait, that's all I had to do to get out of there? Is just get in trouble with a female, and then Gothard's going to kick me out? I would have done that way earlier.
And I don't like, who was I? Our family knew like 3 other families in the area. Well, okay, one of the families was the minister of education at the church that I went to.
Oh.
So the Southern Baptist Church, that's pretty contemporary.
Okay.
But the minister of education was an ATI family.
Interesting.
So that was that dynamic.
That was in Oklahoma?
Nope. New Braunfels, sir.
Oh, that was in New Braunfels. Oh,
yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but I heard his kid got an education, so he literally went to college. I'm like, oh,
good. Oh, that's the other thing, dude. That's the other episode that we're going to be working on that I'm really excited about is my friend Taylor, who didn't grow up in the Shiny Happy People cult, but she still grew up in that fundamental Christian homeschool movement. Her family was more about like Billy Graham and James Dobson with Focus on the Family, Worldview Academy. And we're going to be talking to her just kind of about the experience that she had and how closely paralleled it is to the experience that we had in the Shiny Happy People cult. And it just kind of shows that this all comes from the same foundation, right? Bill Gothard, his ideas, his doctrines, his training programs, they were not new. He stole this all from fundamental Baptists.
It's like the analogy that I said. It's like what you have here is you have tomato sauce. And then this religion was like, we believe in lasagna. Tomato sauce on lasagna. And this religion over here is like, we like spaghetti and meatballs. That's it. But it's all the same. Like, guys are in charge, submit to them.
You know what it actually is? It's all tomato sauce, and we like it with garlic. Oh, well, but we like it with Parmesan cheese in it. It's all just tomato sauce with just their own little sprinklings, their own garnishments, right? It's all the same stuff, but everyone says, well, but our sauce is the best, right? That's always how it works. Our sauce is the absolute truth. We have a monopoly on the truth, and it's our sauce.
And then every now and then you get down to the bottom and you're like, oh my God, there's a raisin. What happened? Well, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
Put dog food in the tomato sauce. This is gross. But yeah, it's going to be, those 3 episodes are going to be so interesting. But I'm also looking forward to talking to some people that didn't grow up in a cult necessarily, but just grew up in some of these same high demand or dangerous type environments. Like one of my buddies that we're going to be talking to, he grew up in gang culture. Like that is how he was raised. And it took him a long time to get out of that. And he went through some really, really difficult stuff. He's in a great place now. Our lady subscribers are gonna love him. He's tattooed all the way up to his chin. He has face tattoos. He's this big, burly, buff dude. So he's a great guy. He's a huge teddy bear now. But that guy had a rough upbringing. So someone like that who overcame very challenging circumstances and has a happy, successful life now, those are also the kind of people that I want to talk to. So we've just got some really cool episodes coming up, man.
Trauma is it's out there.
It's everywhere.
I have to call out Laura. I am flattered. I'm totally flattered. Yes, I will. I will let David Harbour play me in the movie.
Who I don't even know who David Harbour is.
He's the sheriff in Stranger Things.
Oh, okay.
He played Hellboy, and he bulked up for that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I like that. That's actually a really good fit for you, dude. That's a great fit.
He can grow a beard.
So got a lot of cool stuff that's coming up. Wanted to talk about just some other current event type things. I know we haven't talked about politics very much at all, but there's just so much wacky stuff happening right now. First, we had Trump's mugshot, right? And we've got all the Biden drama that's going on. And today, Mitch McConnell glitched out again. This is the second time in like 2 months, dude, where he just froze and had to be escorted away.
Look, he briefly went to the other multiverse and he came back. Okay.
He just interdimensionally traveled for like 5 seconds. It's fine, guys. Dude, how are they? I mean, that's gotta be some sort of abuse. Not to just be like, look, Mitch, we get it, dude. You're old and you're glitching out. Chow said glitch McConnell. Perfect. Yeah, literally good. Perfect. How are they letting him? How are they not just removing him? Like, you need to be in a home, dude. You need to be taken care of right now.
I want age restriction. I gotta have it.
Really?
72 or 70, something like that. Age restriction for every. I don't care if it's Congress or Senate or state Senate.
Okay.
If you can't describe to me very simply how email works.
Ooh, that's a great test. Not email anymore though. Like if you can't work an iPhone or a smartphone without help, you got to go.
If I ask you how old your email is and you say it's 20 years and I say, what's the password? And you don't know, you're out.
You're out? I don't know. I know a password from 20 years ago, dude. I just think like if you
you don't understand. People that open an email account that's 20 years old, generally they have never changed the password.
True.
Thus, they should know it.
If you've got an MSN account, you got to go. Like that's it. No.
If you have if you have your ISPs, at satx.rr.com, at cox.com, AOL.com, you're out.
Right.
Can't
serve. And here's exactly what I was getting to. Sarah Goforth said, it's the aliens. Dude, the more I see politicians, some of these politicians just wigging out, the more I believe in like the lizard people stuff, dude. The more I'm starting to think like, are these clones?
Well, so I told you about that congressman that goes on TikTok and Instagram
Yes, yes.
And he just sits there, and he's a freshman congressman, Democrat. But like, if he was running for president, I would be very tempted to just vote for him straight up.
Really?
Because he sits down, he just tells it like it is. And he says that as soon as the cameras are gone, these people that are saying crazy stuff and acting outrageously, they throw a switch and they're all business and they're doing what they're supposed to do. It is all about media coverage and clicks. Somebody asked him, they said, do you think there'll be a government shutdown? And he said, yep, I think there will be. I think they'll let it happen. And then there will be a camera in their face every day that the government shutdown is happening while ramping into election year. So they will literally let the government shut down for free press during election time.
Absolutely.
And I say, sweep them all out.
Start
over.
You know, that's one of the things that's been really interesting about, you know, my social media journey and specifically on YouTube. The videos that have been most popular for me, right, are videos where I'm making fun of President Biden, right? And so people just automatically assume, oh, well, he must be a conservative. No, I'm not. I just don't like any politicians. I don't like any politicians. I've made fun of Biden. I've made fun of Trump. I've made fun of Ted Cruz, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders. I've made fun of all of them. Republicans, Democrats, and independents, because I think they're all phony and fake and performing and controlled.
You're braver than me. I will never make fun of Hillary Clinton. No.
That is a dangerous one. That is a very dangerous one. She's great. And the way I made fun of Hillary Clinton was I got her to admit in an edited interview that she was a vampire. So there you go. I'm sure I have a target on my back.
Yeah,
but that's a cult too, dude. Politics is a cult.
I have been saying for years, stop voting like it's your sports team. Okay. Would you please look at the person and listen to what they're saying and understand that whenever they say something wild, like we're going to have free healthcare, it's like, no,
not going to happen.
You can't wish that into being. And when you get in there, guess what? The pharmaceutical companies and everybody's going to be like, hey,
the special interest groups and lobbyists aren't going to let it happen.
We're not going to donate to you if you
know how.
It's like, oh, you're not going to.
Chow just said, nice knowing you, Davey. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Oh, great point from Laura referencing the Tea Party, right? That was, regardless of whether or not you agree with their ideals or their politics, that was also a cult type scenario, where you've got a bunch of people promising to do all these different things. Nothing ever happened. There's the cult of the Democrats. There's the cult of the Republicans, the cult of the independents. I mean, all of this stuff, because all they are doing, and the reason I say it's a cult is because all they're doing is just exploiting people for money and power. That's it. And it's a huge manipulation play, because we all know that at the end of the day, it's the special interest groups and the lobbyists that are controlling everything and calling all the shots.
Yep.
That's it.
And so now I'm going to do something that they don't do, which is what they should do. So Laura mentioned Bernie Sanders.
Yep.
I believe that Bernie Sanders is a genuine person. He genuinely believes what he's saying. And if you rewind the tape 30, 40 years, it's the same Bernie Sanders. Right. I don't agree with him. I don't agree with 90% of him, but I believe that he is at least somewhat reasonable. And if you went to him and said the majority of the country does not want you to do that, then he might listen, versus everybody else and every political party would be like, I got to do what the group is telling me to do.
Here's the problem with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is way too memeable. That's the whole problem with Bernie. He's too memeable, dude, with the mittens, him sitting there in his chair with the mittens. I'm coming to you yet again. That's the problem with Bernie. If he wasn't so memeable, he'd probably get a lot further in his presidential bids. But at the same time, I agree 100% with what you're saying there, Brice, that he is very consistent. It's been the same message for a long time with him. You go back and you watch old tape of Joe Biden, woo, it is problematic. Whoa. Dude, that guy was insane back in the day.
He claimed that he was like, he went to law school and a scholarship and was one of the top in his class. And the school came back. He's like, he was never enrolled here. I don't know what he's talking.
Dude, once again, Cass, thank you so much for the super chat. I wanted to read this. I haven't read it yet. So it's just tomato sauce. I didn't grow up in a cult, but I went to a Christian school and they taught me so much hate and judgment. I'm still working on deconstructing at age 40. Almost 41 in 2 weeks. Trauma is real. We are the same age, by the way, Cass. So thank you for not calling yourself old, because you would have been calling me old by association. So appreciate that. But yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about, Brice, right here. It was never limited to the shiny happy people cult. These problematic, hateful, exploitative, manipulative ideologies were not exclusive to the shiny happy people cult and Bill Gothard. It was pervasive throughout a large portion of the evangelical community.
It built on a foundation of fear.
And control.
It's all
fear and control.
Based. Well, fear leads to control.
Right. Fear in the interest of controlling. Correct. I mean,
you can get people to read all kinds of crazy stuff if they make them afraid enough.
And the other great point with what Cass is saying here is she's still working on deconstructing or deprogramming or disentangling or whatever you want to call it at age 40. This is a lifelong process. You know, I talked to a lady the other day, and she's in her mid 40s and went through some really traumatic stuff in her teens, early teens. And, you know, one of the things that she mentioned, Brice, and that you've mentioned before, is she just felt like she hasn't accomplished what she wants to accomplish in life. She feels like she's behind. And I think the important thing for people like us to recognize, people like Cass to recognize, is that this is a process. And you just have to take it one step at a time. But you also have to give yourself grace and recognize that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're exactly where the universe wants you to be. And so you just keep moving forward. And Cass also agrees with you that we should have term limits and age restriction, Brice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking about running just for the free healthcare. I just serve one term, vote present like one of our presidents did the whole time, and then just kind of bow out and be like, I lost. Yeah. Free healthcare.
So, I mean, dude, the whole Mitch McConnell glitching out, Glitch McConnell, I love that. That to me is just indicative of the issue that we're having in our politics right now. Like that's a perfect summary of it, right? That mother effer is not real, right?
So I'm picturing a T-shirt. It's a picture of Mitch McConnell frozen. You overlay it like a Max Headroom, and you add a zig halfway through, and it just says Glitch McConnell.
Glitch McConnell. I love it, dude. That could go somewhere. I mean, we probably have to give Chow a little bit. I think it was Chow that said that, right?
It was.
Yeah. Wait, is it also Cass's birthday? Oh, she's got a birthday coming up. Okay. Well, happy early birthday, Cass. And thank you so much for the super chats. We love you. Thank you so much. But yeah, dude, I mean, just the stuff that's going on right now. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know if it's lizard people. I don't know what it is. Reptilians, interdimensional beings, but there is something weird happening. Not just in our politics, just kind of in general. In our culture in general, there is some weird stuff happening. And maybe it is the aliens, man. I don't know what's more likely. Reptilians or aliens? What do you think? Who's got your vote?
I mean, the aliens could have dropped the reptilians, but I got to go at least with aliens. It just seems more feasible. I do have to interject some political stuff that I recently found out about the wonderful state of Texas, who has just put a law in that will basically encourage people to reproduce as many chimes as they can.
Oh, going back to the quiverful. Okay. Little Joshua generation. Yeah.
So, and it completely, it involves property tax. If you are married and you stay married and you have children, for each child the amount of property tax you pay goes down until you hit, if I remember correctly, it's like when you hit 10 kids, you don't have to pay property taxes as long as you stay married.
They really want people to be having these babies.
I'm adopting right now. Actually, if you adopt 2 kids,
dude, my mom is going to be so happy. My mom is going to be so happy about this. She's going to have a reason to tell me to give her more grandkids now, because I'm the only sibling that doesn't have kids. My little sister, my little brother, they both have kids. I have 0, and my mom has been begging me for years, and now she can come at me with it's a property tax break, and she knows I love a good deal. She knows I love a deal.
Here's another deal: if you adopt 2 kids, I don't know if it's just any kids or if they have to be brother and sister, but if you adopt them in the state of Texas, free college.
Really? Wait.
Yep.
Are you sure that's accurate? If you adopt kids, they get free college tuition?
It has to be like 2. So this was told to me by a person that had adopted twins.
Okay.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, no, they get to go to college for free." I was like, "What are you talking about? I haven't heard of that."
That's wild. I don't know if I disagree or agree with it on a political level.
It
seems kind of cool. I mean, you're doing a good thing.
It's a great incentive,
yeah.
But it's an incentive in the right direction. It's not like all of your kids get to go to college, or we give you $20,000 if they make it to 18. It's like, no, they get to go to college for free.
The thing I like about that is that it benefits the kids, not the adoptive parents. That's what I like about that, right?
The benefit
if
for
you
the
create incentive
parents,
for the adoptive parents, then you're creating a cesspool of abuse potential.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. The incentive for them is not having to pay for college.
Yeah. I agree with Chow. I want to get adopted now. Like someone adopt me now, so that I can get this free college thing. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cutie Miss Chris said that she's got 2 kids. How do people with 10 do it? I don't know, because I grew up with multiple families that had, 8+ kids. I had, one of the church families. It was like 12, I think.
It's easy. You just have to make sure one of the first 3 kids you have is a girl. That's it.
So that they can take care of all the
100%. 100%. They just take over as you keep having babies. That's how it works.
Although one of my friends that they kind of started out in that fundamental Christian mindset when they first got married and started having kids. First 4 kids, all boys, dude. All boys.
That's a soccer team.
Well, not quite, but it's a lot of dudes. It's a small army. Oh my God.
There's so many things I could say, and I'm not gonna say it.
Right, because we do have to censor ourselves a bit. But that's funny. But yeah, I don't know how they do it either, man. Even if you have a girl that is essentially like a stand-in mom, right? Because that's how a lot of those homeschool families did it. Still, dude, it is a lot. It is a lot to take care of 10 kids. Ignore the financial factor, right? Just, finances aside, because that's an expensive proposition, because you only get so much tax break. Although now apparently you get even more.
You're in the state of Texas.
But from like a federal tax perspective, you get, each dependent, you get a little bit of a break there, right? But still, dude.
Anybody know where I can get a social security number for my cats? Because I really want to claim them this year.
That's the only thing that I really don't like about you, Brice, is your affinity for cats. I don't like that. I
actually like all kinds of animals. Cats are just easier to take care of in my living situation.
Cats, this is actually like a bit that I do. If cats had human jobs, so if a cat could get a human job, they would be either an attorney, a crooked cop,
head of HR.
A terrible live-at-home boyfriend. Those are the 3 jobs that cats could get: attorney, crooked cop, or worthless stay-at-home boyfriend. And I
disagree.
I think most of them would be worthless stay-at-home boyfriends because all the mannerisms are there, right? Like they only give you attention when it's convenient for them. Most of the time, they're just ignoring you. They only talk to you when they're hungry and then go back to ignoring you. They just lay around all day messing up your furniture. Cats are worthless stay-at-home boyfriends, in my opinion.
I have 2 cats. They have completely different personalities. One of them is a queen. The other is an idiot. She has 1 brain cell, and most of the time she can't find it. She literally acts like a dog. She flops on her back and wants to be petted on her stomach. She is just an idiot. And the other one is like, get away from me. You're dumb.
You you have a special needs cat. That's hilarious. One of I think I can say this. I think I can say this safely. I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and she told me, and I called her out on it because I was like, there's no way that's accurate. But she told me that if a cat consistently, like when they try to run, if they sneeze a lot, that's a symptom of feline AIDS. And I was like, there's no way that is correct. There's no way that's accurate. It wasn't. It was not accurate. She looked it up. Even though most cats have that. Most cats do have the feline, you know.
Most cat. You don't know what you're talking about.
I do. I absolutely
no,
do. Yes, that is a statistical thing. Nuri said cats would be assassins for the cartel, by the way. I think that's another.
I could sit here and school you on cats and cat behavior and all kinds of cat facts. Like I was that old mailing list from back in the day.
Oh,
I'm not gonna do that because people will get bored real fast, and eventually they're gonna want me to go get them, and then like because that one is asleep over there, and I don't know where the other one is, but yeah,
go get them tested, dude. They probably have it.
They get tested before they come into the home, idiot. And
no,
they never leave the home. I do not let them outside.
That's like the assumption is that just most cats have it. Chow said I'm wrong, but I don't believe Chow. This is the one time I'm going to disagree with Chow.
Here, I'll make a correct statement. Most koalas have chlamydia.
Okay. So there's something I didn't know. Well, I don't know how we got into animal STDs after at the end of this live stream, but we're just about out of time.
Join us for part 2 of animal STDs.
On the Friends with Davey Cult Bros live stream, where we love to talk about animal venereal diseases. That's crazy.
I'm going to do to you
what, so funny.
What's the actor from Gladiator?
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe donated a lot of money to a koala shelter in Australia to call it the John Oliver Koala Chlamydia Sanctuary, after John Oliver like made fun of him or something on his show.
Oh, that is.
Of course, John Oliver was
so
like,
great.
Well played, sir.
What a legend. What an absolute legend. That is so good. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for the Super Chats, Cass specifically. You're legendary for that. Follow us on social media. You can find me at Davey Jax on pretty much any social media platform. Obviously, please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And we will see you next week. Right, Brice? We'll be back with a new episode next week.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. We love you. Have a great night.
Night.